Every spring, my smart home reminds me of a simple truth. A smart home is not something you build once, it's something you maintain. Because winter automations, winter temperatures, and winter assumptions don't survive spring. Suddenly, batteries die, garden sensors wake up, solar production changes, and automations that worked perfectly 3 months ago start doing completely the wrong thing, sometimes very enthusiastically. So, once a year, I run a spring smart home checklist. And today I'll show you exactly what I check before the house and the garden enter the active season. And there is one thing on this checklist that breaks smart homes every spring. And yes, people forget to check it. We'll go into that in just a couple of seconds. One thing people often forget when building automations is that houses are seasonal systems. Winter and summer behave completely different. In winter, the house mostly focuses on indoor comfort, heating, humidity, temperature stability. But when spring arrives, suddenly the outside world becomes important again. Garden sensors wake up, outdoor automation starts triggering again, solar production changes. Systems that were mostly idle during winter suddenly become active again. And spring doesn't arrive quietly. The garden wakes up. Plants start growing. The lawn suddenly remembers it exists. All the systems around the house slowly come back to life. Which also means all the systems around the house now have more opportunities to break. And when spring actually arrives, the change is visible everywhere. Plants wake up, flowers start blooming, the garden slowly turns green again. And even devices around the house start preparing for the season. When all of that starts happening, your smart home needs to wake up as well, which is why the first thing I check every spring is batteries. Remember that thing I said almost nobody checks in the spring? It's this batteries. Winter is brutal for batteries. Cold temperatures slowly drain them. Sensors that looked perfectly fine during the winter suddenly start dying when outdoor activities increase. So the first thing I do is open Home Assistant and review battery levels. I usually sort my Zigbee devices or any devices by battery percentage. What I'm looking for is devices like door sensors, leak sensors, outdoor sensors, garden sensors. Anything around 30% or lower usually gets new batteries, because batteries always die at the worst possible time, usually about 5 minutes before you actually need the sensor. Like a leak sensor during watering season, or a garden sensor in the middle of the heat wave. So my rule is simple: replace batteries before the season starts, not after something fails. The second thing I review every season are seasonal automations. Automations that make perfect sense in winter often behave differently once temperatures start rising. In winter, the system prioritizes heating and indoor comfort, but in spring, I start switching towards ventilation and air quality. So I review things like window opening automations, night ventilation logic, temperature thresholds, and also seasonal helpers. Sometimes I also disable automations that only make sense in the winter, because one of the hidden problems of smart homes is automation accumulation. Over time, you keep adding automations, and after a few years, you start forgetting why some of them exist. So, spring is also a good moment to clean things up a little. Spring is also when garden wakes up, which means the smart home suddenly starts caring about things outside again. In my case, this mostly means soil sensors. I'm installing a few sensors around the house in the garden beds. Not to fully automate irrigation, but to actually understand what the soil is doing. Because watering plants on a fixed schedule is usually wrong. Sometimes the soil is still wet, Sometimes it's completely dry. So the goal here is simple: measure soil moisture, watch how the garden behaves, then decide when watering actually makes sense. Over the next few weeks, I'll also show how these sensors integrate into Home Assistant and how I use that data to decide when watering is needed. Right now, the automation is still very advanced. The sensors report soil moisture to Home Assistant. Home Assistant sends me a notification, and then I go outside with a watering can. So technically, the irrigation system is still me. Another thing I check every spring is the rainwater tank system. I've been using it for some time now to supply water for the garden. But during the winter, tank stays empty on purpose because freezing temperatures and water systems are not great friends. So in the spring, the system gets de-winterized. I reconnect the pump, verify the sensors, and make sure the automations still behave correctly. Right now, the tank is basically waiting for the first proper rain to fill up again. And once that happens, I'll make a full video showing the entire setup and automation logic. At the moment, the system is ready. The weather just hasn't read the documentation yet, and yeah, it will take some time. Another big seasonal change is energy behavior. Spring completely changes how energy flows through the house. Solar production increases, heating loads drop, and consumption patterns change. So I open the Home Assistant Energy dashboard and check few things: production trends, battery behavior, and whether my automation still makes sense. Some automations only run when solar production is high, which works great in summer, but can behave very differently in early spring. Speaking of energy, sometimes it's fun to actually see where energy goes. Thermal cameras are a great way to visualize that. Solar panels warming up in the sun, inverters and batteries under load. Even outdoor equipment like grills or lawn mowers look completely different in thermal. It's not something you need for normal smart home maintenance, but it's a fun way to literally see energy moving through the system. Then comes one of my favorite seasonal devices, the robot lawnmower. Before the first mowing cycle, I check few simple things: cutting height, schedule, and safety sensors. I also replace the blades. Starting the season with fresh blades gives the mower a clean start and noticeably better cuts. The first mow of the season should be gentle because grass wakes up slowly after winter. So I usually start with a higher cutting height and then gradually lower it over the next few weeks. Another thing I often check in spring is outdoor connectivity. Wi-Fi coverage around the house suddenly becomes much more important once you start spending time outside. Robot mowers, outdoor cameras, garden sensors, and even working outside with a laptop depends on it. For example, this year I upgraded my main outdoor access point. I replaced the Unify UK Ultra with the U6 Mesh Pro. And the difference in signal quality around the house and garden is actually quite dramatic. Better connectivity for robot mower, better connectivity for garden cameras, and honestly, much better Wi-Fi for me when I'm outside trimming trees or cleaning the garden. And finally, there are always random things that break after winter. Outdoor cameras, outdoor sensors, garden cameras, loose mounts, and Wi-Fi devices that decide winter was too stressful. So I usually do a quick walk around the property, check signal strength, verify that outdoor devices are still behaving correctly, and tighten everything and anything that winter stores may have moved. Because smart homes don't break in the dashboards, they break in the real world. Usually outside, in the rain, when you forget where you've put the screwdriver. The key idea here is simple. Smart homes don't just need automation, they need seasonal maintenance. Once a year, I run this checklist. It takes maybe half an hour, but it prevents months of weird behavior later. So if your smart home suddenly starts acting strange in spring, don't blame Home Assistant. Blame the fact that the seasons changed. And maybe check your batteries. I really do hope that you did find this video interesting. And if you did, as always, please hit the like button and check that you are subscribed. And also, as always, I must say thanks to all those wonderful people that are supporting me and that have become YouTube channel members. Thank you all for all of your support. But let's not forget each and every one of you who has watched, shared, liked or commented on my videos. Thank you. If you too want to support the channel, you can go to my merchandise store and grab something there, or become a YouTube channel member for only €2 or $2 per month by clicking the join button down below. Last but not least, as always, you can send me super thanks, and I will be super thankful for that. I'll be seeing you next time. Until then, bye bye and have fun.